Multiples. Multiples are the result of multiplying one number by another. So simply, when you multiply one number by another number, it is called multiples. So if we take 5 and 1 and we multiply them, we can also take 5 and then multiply by 2, we get 10. 5 by 3, 5 by 4, so on and so forth. So multiplying one number by another number, we get multiples. If we multiply one number by another, the result is also termed as the product. So the product of 5 and 4 means when we multiply 5 by 4, and in this case that is 20. The product of 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 is the product of 2 times 3. Alright. Sometimes people confuse multiples with factors, but they are two different things which are somehow related. They are not the same thing. Multiples and factors are not the same thing, even though they have relations. And let's see that relation. Let's take 15 for instance. You have multiples and then you have factors or divisors as well. How do we distinguish between the multiples and the factors or the divisors? Or the factors are numbers that will divide 15 without a remainder. We've already explained this topic earlier, so if you've missed it, you can go and check it out. But then the factors of 15 will be 15 itself, 5, 3, and 1. These are the numbers that can divide 15 without a remainder. And like we've seen, the result is exhaustive, it is finite. These are all the numbers that will divide 15 without a remainder. However, when we take multiples, it is simply multiplying 15 by other numbers. So 15 by 1 is 15, 15 by 2 will be 30, 15 by 3 will be 45, by 4 will be 60, by 5 will be 75. We could have gone on and on and on. Since there are infinite numbers, then multiples are infinite. It is not exhaustive like factors or divisors. So in this group of numbers, the factors will be here and then the multiples will be that. We can make a conclusion from this. A factor and a factor gives a multiple. So 15 has factors 5, 3, and when we multiply these two factors, we get 15, which is a multiple of 3 and 5. This is the relation we can find from factors and divisors. Factors are finite, multiples are infinite. When you multiply a factor by a factor, you get a multiple. Okay. A common thing to do is to find a common multiple. When you are given two or more set of numbers, you would likely be asked to find their common multiples. So when you write out their multiples, then you check out if there are multiples that exist between both numbers. For instance, if you consider 12 and then 8, and you write down their first 12 multiples, 8 will have these multiples: 8, 16, 24, 32 up to 96. That is the first 12 multiples of 8. The same thing here. When you check out the first 12 multiples of 12, these will be the numbers. You can see some similarities among them. 24 exists here and there, 48 exists, and then 72 as well. Lastly, we can see 96. These numbers exist between the multiples of 8 as well as the multiples of 12. So we call them common multiples of 8 and 12 because it can be found here and then here as well. They are common to both of them. So 24, 48, 72, and 96 are the common multiples of 8 and 12. We can take this further to the least common multiple, which is an important topic in mathematics. Okay, the least common multiple. The common multiples we found are quite numerous. We found about 4 of them. Now the list of it is usually of interest in maths, especially when dealing with fractions. So it is important you know how to find the least common multiple, and it is usually found by writing down the multiples and then finding the common multiples, and out of the common multiples, the smallest of it or the least of it is what we are usually interested in. So it becomes the least common multiple. Again, the example we did, 8 and 12, we have some multiples we found like 24, 48, 72 and then 96. Which of these numbers that are common to both of them is the least? 24, right? So out of these common multiples, 24 is the least of them. So 24 is the least common multiple of 8 and 12. Well, would you like to try this? Try this. Let's see. Find the least common multiple of 9 and 7. Pause the video, work it out. Let's see. Okay, so this is it. You find the multiples of 9 and then you find that of 7. There is no rule to it. You just have to find an ample number of it until you find a multiple that exists both here and then there. So when you list an ample number of multiples, you see that 63 appears in both of them. So 63 is the least common multiple because it is the first number that appears in the multiple of 7 and then 9. If there could be other multiples that exist between them, but if you are interested in the least one, which would always be the first multiple you will find. That is if you are following an ascending order. Alright, so in this case, the least common multiple is 63. Great. How about this one? Try this as well. The least common multiple of 6, 8, and 10. Yes, you would have to list some common multiples of the 3 numbers, and in this case you could list the first 10 multiples of all of them. Great. You find that after listing about 10 multiples of all of them, there is still no common multiple among all 3. That is a problem. That means that we have to go on and on and on until we find a least common multiple. That is exhaustive and sometimes difficult to do. So we have a simple way of dealing with that, and that is what the next topic will talk about, using the prime factors to find the LCM. This video is getting lengthy, so check the next video.